Before we get into the video, guys, just want to let you know to use my code MyBio to get 30% off Trident DFS's premium sports betting picks. With that all said, let's get into the predictions video. We are doing NFL Week 11 predictions. We are recording during the Thursday night game, so we can't give you our accurate picks on that game because it is currently in progress, with the Commanders up 7-0 right now. But we are going to start immediately with Green Bay traveling to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 5-point dogs. I don't really need to explain a whole lot. Bears just fired their offensive coordinator, who we all don't think is good.
5.5.
Oh, 5.5. Oh, shit. Okay.
Sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah, 5.5 point dogs against the Green Bay Packers at home. I'm going to go with the Packers here. I don't really think I need to explain much. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the Bears franchise. I mean, we've seen this a lot with the Bears where, they don't fire the coach. They don't hire the right coach. That's all I really have to say. I just think that the Packers are a better ran organization, better quarterback at this point right now, although I think Caleb could be better. Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Packers minus 5.5. I would take the Packers if it was 15.5 because the Bears are just garbage. Matt Eber, terrorist, is clearly our number one on the FBI's most wanted list. I mean, that guy needs to be launched, booted, get him out of here.
Yes, agreed.
Caleb Williams is regressing, and I heard Nick Wright was talking about this, where Caleb Williams is just taking so many coverage sacks where he just he's not ripping the ball. He's not pulling the trigger. They're basically, he said that they're coaching all the Caleb Williams-ness out of him. So he's not making plays. Just they're literally just turning him into Andy Dalton.
Thanks, Shane Waldron.
Yeah, I mean, JSN tried to warn the world about what Shane Waldron was like. So that is two Bears offensive. The last two Bears offensive coordinators have both been fired in the past week. So Luke Getsy was just fired a week ago by the Raiders. But yeah, that's Packers minus 5.5. The Bears are awful, and the tailspin, they'll just continue to spiral until Eberflus is gone. Really until the team is sold. But I mean, if we could at least get Ben Johnson as our head coach next year, then maybe we have a chance. But
knowing the Bears, they're never going to hire the best choice available.
No, they might hire him though, just because he's not I don't know.
I mean, couldn't they have hired Bruce Arians, and they just chose not to, and they hired.
Yes, they could have hired Doug Peterson as well,
Yeah.
Although that hasn't really worked out. Yeah, they could have hired Bruce Arians back in the day after they fired Lovey, I believe. And so they chose to hire a guy named Mark Trestman, who used to address the team while he used to be behind the team, and the team was facing the other way. He wasn't standing in the front of the room. Was he maybe perhaps afraid to public speak? I don't know, but that was just the most
that's
idiotic Bears thing ever.
Bad hire.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we got the
Bears are so cooked.
Jaguars traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions are 14-point favorites here. This is because Mac Jones sucks. He looked trash. He had one good drive against the Vikings, I will admit, but he looked awful. And the Jaguars defense was going to win them that game. I mean, Sam Darnold threw a ton of picks as well. But
yeah, it was 12-7.
If Trevor was in this game, Jags would have won that game last week. I know this is kind of a reaction, but I'm going to go with not the Jags. Sorry, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here. I see no hope for them with Mac Jones because Mac Jones just looks awful. And maybe if Trevor was in, this line wouldn't be as big. But I mean, the Detroit offense is just a machine, and they're going to destroy the Jags, unfortunately. So yeah, going with the Detroit Lions here.
Yeah, for the second game in a row, I will go ahead and ride with you on that one. I think actually it could be so bad. I mean, it's in Detroit. It could be so bad that this might be Doug Peterson's last game as the head coach of the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean,
although Well, with Mac Jones being in, I don't know, but maybe it won't even matter. Maybe they'll just be like, maybe they. I mean, like if the Lions win like 48-7 or something like that,
I think they
and just
will. I was just
absolutely
picturing the
dominate.
Titans when they played the Titans. The Lions played the Titans. It was like 52-20 or something. That's
And
why I
the
have no
Titans have
problem.
a good defense too.
Yeah, the Titans have a top 10 defense in the NFL. Probably be even better if it weren't for that game specifically. It'd probably be like top 7.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be so out of hand and so embarrassing for the Jaguars that they may have no chance or no choice but to fire Doug.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Doug Peterson.
Unfortunately, because I like Doug Peterson.
I think it brings a level of stability to the Jags that they didn't have, just having a good coach. And really quick before I move on, I do think Shad Khan is one of those owners who doesn't want his franchise to be a joke, so he might stick with Doug Peterson just because. I mean, he was thinking about firing Urban Meyer when he was doing all the crazy stuff. And it took him a while to finally fire him. It was after the whole like kicking the kicker thing came out where he kicked Josh Lambo. That's where they finally said enough is enough. 'Cause they were gonna let him ride the season out really, and then that thing came out and that's when they stopped it.
What a bunch of fake news, dude.
Yeah.
Josh Lambo's a little bitch.
I stand with Urban.
I stand with Urban, dude. Kickers. I mean, dude, kick them if they can't make. I mean, make your fucking kicks, bro. Shit.
Yeah. Stand with Urban. He didn't do anything wrong.
Kickers aren't real people, dude, except for Young Hoku. That's the only one.
except for Young Hoku and Evan McPherson. Those are the only two great kickers in the NFL. And
Yeah,
Tyler Bass
maybe.
when he hit that 61-yarder. Let's move on to Miami taking on Tennessee.
Okay.
Miami taking
Miami. The
on
Raiders.
Minnesota taking on Tennessee. My bad.
Oh.
I misread. I read MIN as MIA. Minnesota is favored by 6 points here. I will say this about Will Levis last week. He did look pretty good. No turnovers. Had 2 touchdown
Whoa.
drives. Obviously, one of them was a garbage time drive, and then one of them was, I think, in the second half. But Chargers are
Is
hard.
that first time in his career? No turnovers?
I think his first game, the one where he had 4 touchdowns, I don't think he turned the ball over in that game. He might have, but he's starting to look a little better. So
He's turning a corner.
yeah, I kind of want to pick the 6-point spread. Actually, no, I am going to pick the 6-point spread. I'm going to pick Tennessee to cover the 6-point spread, just because I think their defense is so good. And we maybe are seeing Sam Darnold kind of regress, and we're seeing the opposite out of Will Levis. I might eat my words, and Will Levis looks like trash, but he didn't turn the ball over against the Chargers, who are a good defense. So, yeah, going with the Tennessee Titans here.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that with you. The Vikings are kind of like falling back down to earth, and like you said, they probably would have lost to the Jaguars had Trevor Lawrence been playing. I mean, the Jags do not have a good defense, and Minnesota only scored 12 points. The Titans have a good defense,
Yeah.
and they're playing at home. But I don't know. I picked the Titans in this pretty similar situation last week against the Chargers, although they were on the road. I picked them to cover 7.5. They did not. They lost by 10. And that was with no turnovers, right? Will, you said, right?
Yeah,
Will
no
Levis had
turnovers.
No turnovers.
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, he really puts the pressure on the quarterback. He puts the pressure on Stafford. And I don't know. I got burned by the Titans last week and thinking that they could cover 7. I know 6 is a little less than 7, but obviously. But I'm gonna take Minnesota to cover the 6 here. Actually.
Okay. Yeah, I don't dislike that, but and just
Yeah, I
gotta
don't
go
really
some
trust.
underdogs.
I don't really trust the Titans.
Let's move on to Las Vegas taking on Miami. Miami are 7-point favorites at home, and I don't need to say anything else because I think Miami's kind of turning a page here and they're finally looking better. They might sneak into the playoffs here, and the Raiders are kind of just in limbo right now. They started Desmond Ridder or they put in Desmond Ritter. Now they're going back to Minshew. Gonna go with Miami here. I just think, I don't know. They're definitely just a better team than the Raiders are right now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it just feels like, I mean, Miami or the the Bron or the Raiders have lost 5 games in a row. They're well, I mean, they beat the Browns and they also beat the Ravens, which is just kind of wacky, but they just got blown out on the road by the Bengals. Bengals and the Dolphins are pretty similar kind of teams, you know?
Yeah,
Um, so you would think that this sets up, and Miami, they beat the Rams, who we think are a pretty good team.
yeah. I think they're a playoff team.
Um, Miami, and again, I was a biggest like don't pay Tua advocate. I was like, Tua's not a guy that you give that big contract to, but the difference that you see in that team with and without Tua makes it pretty obvious that he's worth that money. I mean, at least to them, he's not. He's they're not a real football team without. They are non-competitive, like
Agreed.
completely uncompetitive when they don't have Tua, and when they have Tua, they can win some games. So I want to take Miami -7 because that just feels like easy money. But this is like one of those situations, and I always pick against these situations where it just like one of those somebody knows somebody something situations, like why is this line feel so wrong? So I am gonna take the Raiders +7. It feels idiotic to do, but I did it last week with the Houston +3.5 against um, Detroit. I did it with Miami +2.5 against the Rams. That felt idiotic. So I don't know. It's just one of those lines where, like, the Saints +3.5 and they outright won. It's one of those lines. It doesn't feel right, but I'm going to take it anyway, just because I feel like Miami should be favored by so much more than 7. So it feels like somebody knows something. I'm gonna take the Raiders here, and I don't really know why, but I'll go with them.
All right, let's move on to the Cleveland. Oh wait, no, actually not the Cleveland Browns. The Los Angeles
Rams,
Rams
Patriots.
taking on New England. Sorry, I skipped over a game. Um, the Rams are favored by 4.5 points on the road. They're traveling across the country to go to Boston, obviously, or Foxborough. Um, this is kind of a hard game for me to pick because I see 4.5 points, and I really want to take the Rams, and I think they're a playoff team. But I think the Rams will win this game, but I think I'm going to go with New England keeping it close because I'm really liking how Drake May is looking. So I'm going to take New England here, but I'm picking the Rams to win. Just going to think New England's going to cover this, keep it close.
Yeah, I like your reasoning there. This is going to be a 9 a.m. kickoff for the Rams, like for them where their body clocks are.
Yeah,
Um, is it a noon game or a 1 o'clock? Or no, it's going to be a 10 a.m. kickoff, I guess, for them because it's 1 p.m.
yeah.
Uh, on Eastern time. So I am going to actually take the Patriots with you. Um, I just think I agree with everything you said there. Um, then again, actually, you know what? Forget everything I just said. I'm taking the Rams -4.5. I actually think, and I agree with everything you said there, but I also think the Rams are kind of being undervalued right now that they lost to the Dolphins.
I think
Um,
so too.
and like if the Rams had beaten the Dolphins, I bet this line would be a lot bigger. Um, so I'm just gonna take the Rams. I know that they're probably not as good as we think they are, but Miami's a good team with Tua. I mean, they're there's like no shame in losing to Miami, right? That's
No,
kind
no,
of the way I see it.
they should be a playoff team. Honestly, they would definitely be
Right.
in more of the race for the playoffs if Tua didn't get hurt.
They're the best 3-6 team in the league.
Very true. Uh,
So yeah, I'll go with the Rams. I'll go with the Rams here. I
okay.
think they bounce back. I think they get a bounce back here.
Yeah, I like I said, I agree with you, but I just think the Rams are or the Patriots are going to keep it close. 3 point game maybe not. I don't see them winning by
Yeah.
more than a touchdown. Um,
I do think though, I do think the Patriots are kind of like turning a corner a little bit, like learning how to win. Drake May looks pretty good.
yeah,
Um,
I've liked how Drake May's been looking.
yeah. So I don't know. The Patriots might be. turning a corner here. So I don't know. Regardless, I'm gonna still take the Rams.
Okay, let's move to Cleveland, traveling down to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints are favored by 1 here. On another site, I saw the Browns were favored by 1, so this is a very close betting odds game.
Yeah.
So with New Orleans being the favorite, I actually wanted to take them as the 1 point underdog. But now I kind of am tempted to go with Jameis Winston revenge game on the Saints, even though he likes the
Yes.
Saints. So
Yes. I was hoping you said that.
I'm picking Jameis just to get the revenge on the Saints here. Obviously, the Saints aren't a great team. They looked good against the Falcons, but yeah, gonna go with Jameis getting his revenge on the Saints for passing up on him as a starter.
Yeah, dude. 3 words. Jameis revenge game. Uh, give me the Browns +1.
All right, we're kind of in lockstep here. Honestly, we're picking very similarly. Well, actually,
Yeah, we get some different.
we got some
We got some
deviation.
different
Yeah,
picks,
that's
but
true.
although I honestly could have gone with every single one that you picked. Honestly, I almost wanted to, but I don't know. I kind of like to like fade myself a lot. Like
Yeah,
I'd like to just pick the opposite of what I want to pick. Like I like to make those picks that don't feel good. I always think about that. Like in like fantasy football, like when you're like going off a list, like a draft rankings, and you're like just reading the rankings, and it's like telling you to pick this guy here, and you're like, that guy sucks. I'm not going to pick him here, and then your team ends up like not being that good. It's like, well, maybe you should make those picks that don't feel good because like you don't know everything, right? Maybe those other people know more than you, right?
yeah,
That's kind of how I like look at a lot of these lines, like for example, the Miami -7 line. Like in my mind, that should be like Miami -13, but Vegas is a lot smarter than me, right?
yeah,
And they think it's closer than that. And so I'm just going to defer to that. I'm just going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to just like see what is the line telling me, and maybe just kind of go against my gut instinct because I'm not right about everything.
yeah, yeah. And I'm with you. Sometimes I gotta rethink some of my picks. I've kind of done that because I actually really wanted to take Minnesota at first, and then kind of switched over to Tennessee. Uh,
Yeah.
let's move down the docket, and we're going down to Baltimore, taking on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
I
Baltimore's
can't
favored
believe
by 3 points.
I can't believe this is not the Sunday night game.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game, and I'm actually picking the underdogs here. I'm picking Pittsburgh +3. Um, I've actually kind of liked how Russ has been looking. He's actually looked pretty good.
He
They
has.
beat the Commanders, which I didn't pick that. I picked Commanders last week, and I'm done fading Russ. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and um, Russ is cooking. I will just be the first to say it. Russ is cooking officially. So I'm picking the Steelers here. Uh, 3 points. Obviously, this game's going to be super close just because it's a Steelers game. They always keep every game close. So yeah, gonna go Steelers.
Okay. I'm going to go Baltimore -3 because I never pick against Baltimore. I will never fade Baltimore ever at least until the playoffs. You know my theory on the Ravens, why they just destroy everybody in the regular season. Um, I just evil and bad prosper in the modern NFL. Just good things
It's
happen to
true.
bad team. Good things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people. That's just how the NFL is. Um,
Although there was a point where I think I hated the Steelers more than I hated the Ravens, and now it's kind of reversed, where the Steelers are kind of more likable than the Ravens are.
that's your hometown team, man.
Yeah. Although, is it really?
Yes, it is.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's not. It's not really like a team I'm attached to.
You're a
Uh,
Yinzer by birth,
yeah.
Christian.
I should actually be freaking on the Pat McAfee show talking
You
about.
can't. Yeah, you cannot you can't escape your birthright, dude. Although I guess then that would make me a Browns fan, which I am not. So, whatever.
uh, yeah, that's all we really have to say about that one. I'm gonna move down to Atlanta, traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos.
Um, yep.
Okay, so Broncos are 2 point favorites here, uh, at home. This is honestly a line that surprised me. I mean, besides last week, I feel like Atlanta's offenses looked really good. Um, and their defense really, I mean, I guess there's dealing with a couple of injuries. So this 2 point spread to me is very confusing. But I think maybe they're kind of getting the Broncos are kind of getting that bump from keeping it close with Kansas City, which I called. Um, Unfortunately, they didn't win because I would have gotten my underdog pick of the week right. But on one hand, I
We
really
both
want to,
came close.
yeah, I want to pick Atlanta, but at the same time, I'm a Sean Payton truther, and this is a very hard game for me to pick. So I'm flipping a coin metaphorically in my head. I'm not actually flipping a coin. I'm gonna go with Denver. Denver -2. I'm picking Denver. Bo Nix season. Patrick Surtain season. Denver.
Okay. All right. It's Denver -2. Yeah. Obviously, like Denver's one of the most unique home field advantages in the league just because of the elevation. But I'm gonna go with Atlanta here. I feel like Atlanta is a decent team. They're being undervalued because they just lost to the Saints, and I think that kind of pushes this line towards Denver a bit. But we know why they lost to the Saints because of the interim coach bump. The Saints have the
Rizzler.
Italian interim head coach. Yeah, Derek Carr responds to a strong Italian presence.
Yep.
I'm picking Atlanta on the bounce back here. Kirk Cousins. I do trust Kirk Cousins. I guess more than I trust Bo Nix, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of close, but the spread's close, so I'll take Atlanta +2.
Okay. Let's move down to Seattle traveling to San Fran to take on the Niners. Niners are favored by 6.5 points. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I like the Niners 10 times more than I like the Seahawks, even though JSN is one of my goats, one of my wide receiver goats. I'm taking San Fran -6.5 here. I just like how they've been looking with CMC back. Obviously, they kept it close with the Bucks, but the Bucks are like the best team at losing in the NFL. They keep it close with every single game, with every single team. I mean, so not surprising. Yeah, going with the Niners.
This one is, I don't know, it's tough. I really don't know how to pick it because is it me or have the Seahawks been on bye week for like the past 3 weeks? I feel like I have not seen the Seahawks play at all.
The last game was that crazy Rams game where they lost in overtime.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. When teams are on bye, dude, some teams just lose to the bye and you just completely forget about them, you know? Like all their momentum just disappears in people's eyes. And that's kind of like where the Seahawks are at for me. And all I remember
But they're coming off a bye?
Yes.
And San Fran has McCaffrey back.
Debo, Kittle.
Oh, boy. And it's in San Francisco.
I need to pull
how could
up
I
the
pick
stat
against?
about Kyle
How
Shanahan.
could I pick against San Fran?
I know Shanahan off the bye, dude. He's got like a very good record
Well,
after the or not.
they're not off a bye.
I mean, after the bye. After the bye, he's really good after the bye. He's a very mid coach before the bye week, and then very good after it. So
But they're not off a bye.
after, just like after it in the season. I mean, just
Oh.
purely after the bye week, like before it
Like
and
pre
after
and post bye.
it. Yeah, post bye week, he's good. He just needs the bye week to retool his whole team, and then he's the greatest coach of all time until the Super Bowl, and he sucks.
Yeah. Then he just like forgets that he has Christian McCaffrey for like half a game.
Or Todd Gurley. Oh wait, no, he didn't have Todd Gurley. What am I talking about? Devonta Freeman. When he was in Atlanta.
Dude, no, what a moron. That's why. See, dude, don't get me talking about Kyle Shanahan.
I know he's on your watch list.
Biggest low key loser. But how can I? It just feels like every bone in my body is telling me to take San Fran -6. So I'm gonna take Seattle +6.5. I'm just gonna fade it.
He's not
I'm just
writing
gonna
off
fade.
Gino. He's writing on Gino. He's writing him back.
I'm writing back. I'm writing back right now.
I've written
Um,
Gino off. Post.
all right, let's move on
Yeah. Move
to the big game.
the game of the week. This is the game of the week. Kansas City traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills are favored by 2 here. I will say one thing about Kansas City. Harrison Butker's out for 4.5 weeks,
Harry Butts.
which is not good for them. They just picked up some guy, I think, off the Jets practice squad. So, that being said, every bone of my body is telling me to pick Buffalo -2. And I know last year the Bills won in the regular season against Buffalo, or against the Chiefs. I mean, sorry. So I don't. This is so hard for me to pick because I think the Bills have tons of momentum. I mean, I thought last week was a trap game for them against Indy, and they won that game. Josh has been playing great. Mahomes has been playing trash. So, and we have the Chiefs as an underdog, which is just like, it's so hard not to pick the Chiefs when they're an underdog. You know what? No, actually, fuck that. They went life and death, and they got a fluke win over the Broncos. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Fuck you, Patrick Mahomes. I hope you lose every game from the rest of your career. Yeah, I'm picking the Bills.
You know he's more likely to win every game for the rest of his career.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Like they may never lose again. They've just figured out the formula. I'm taking the Chiefs +2. They have all the black magic. Like the Chiefs are just that team that like nothing bad ever happens to them ever. Like they're the opposite of like when it rains it pours. You know, like when bad things happen to other teams, like more bad things happen. When the Chiefs, good things happen, like more good things happen to them.
Dude, I can't believe they're undefeated right now. Like, that blocked kick at the end of the Broncos game is literally definition of Chiefs black magic.
Dude, they have the worst point differential of any 9-0 team in NFL history. Like, they don't dominate anybody.
And it's just so upsetting because that was a 35-yard field goal that they blocked. Like, that's not like a fluke field goal. That's a freaking gimme. You know, that is a easy
that was like one of those things, like, you know, when you're like watching your team play and the other team's doing that to you and they're like driving it down the field and it's like you're oh gosh, they're already in field goal range.
Yeah, you're like, the game's over.
And you're just like praying on that like 0.0001% chance that maybe you could block the field goal. For the Chiefs, it's like a 75% chance to block that field goal because nothing bad will ever happen to them just because because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce worship the devil, or I don't even know what it is, dude. Like, I don't know. Andy Reid sacrificed his sons or something like that.
Some black sons.
It's seriously just like nothing bad will ever happen to them. They have figured out the formula. It's like that why does he always keep getting away, or how can he keep getting away with it meme or whatever.
Jesse, yeah.
They will always just continue getting away with it. Like, you always think, like, you know, the NFL is so competitive, like, oh my gosh, well, these close games, you can't win all these close games. This is no way to live. You can't just rely on winning one possession games every single time. Eventually you're going to slip up.
Yeah.
They won't. They never will. They never will.
They're like the less exciting Vikings from like 3 years ago. Remember when the Vikings had like 14 one-score games and they won?
Oh yeah,
all of them?
They went 13-4. Yeah.
That is like when the Vikings. That was a fun Vikings team. This is like the boring version of that, where it's just like, wow, the Chiefs are gonna run the ball and pass to their third-string tight end and win the game. Yay! Like,
they're gonna run it with their third-string running back Kareem Hunt, who they just pulled off the street, and then. Like, the thing is, like, it's their defense. It's their defense. Yes. They have the best defense in the league, and nobody ever talks about it. They do. They have the best defensive player in the league, and they're just. It's like, well, how are they doing this? Well, it's very simple. When you have Mahomes and you have the best defense in the league, it doesn't really matter what else you have, because Mahomes knows how to do just enough. Like, he could play like crap for 3.5 quarters. But if you're down by one score, if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, he will somehow find a way to get enough points to win. Like he'll just be like, okay, we need one drive. All right, fine, I can do it. I can do it. I can just whatever. I can just get out there and make some plays,
Yeah,
and
it's usually
I'll
just
run the ball.
slow Kelsey, the slowest
Yeah,
player in the NFL by far right now. I mean,
let's spam Travis Kelsey, and then like let's have Mahomes do that thing where he runs down the sideline, and he picks up like 40 yards on the ground because if you try to tackle him, then he'll go out of bounds and you'll get a late hit. But then if you don't tackle him, he'll keep running.
yes,
So he'll do that thing, and then obviously you get a few helpful flags on third down, fourth down. Maybe some defensive holding, some phantom pass interference, maybe a little roughing the passer. Because
yeah,
Mahomes, he may be having the worst season of his career by far, but he's having the best season of his career at complaining to the refs.
luck, yeah, just fluke luck.
No, like just straight complaining to the refs. Do you see him? Like how much he like yells at the refs and he's like
yeah,
always pointing and screaming and like
he's
he is a
getting
99
that
overall
MJ
in Madden.
treatment, dude. Do you remember when like MJ's like talking to the ref and he's like, I didn't see him, and MJ's like, yeah, I saw it. He's like, okay, MJ, if you say so. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening right now. It's just like, okay, Mahomes.
Oh, exactly.
You said he
100%.
fouled you?
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Roughing
it's
the
just-
passer? All right,
it's-
got
oh,
it.
Them and the Ravens, dude. Are the Ravens and the Chiefs, I will always take them without even a hesitation because unfortunately the Chiefs are the Harlem Globetrotters and the Buffalo Bills are the
Washington Generals.
Washington Generals.
Yeah.
Just that team that has signed up every day to just written into the script to just lose to the Harlem Globetrotters every single time, no matter what they do.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in those Harlem Globetrotters games, the Washington Generals will get like a big lead or something, and then will just totally poop their pants.
Yeah. Honestly, though, the reason I picked Buffalo is just because they won that last week without Keon Coleman. They won it without Amari Cooper. They're hopefully going to get both those guys back. And, I mean, this is a regular season game, so if the Chiefs are going to give any game to the Bills, it's going to be this one, which makes me sad because we'll probably see the Bills lose in the playoffs to the Chiefs in some crappy game.
Yeah.
And really quick before we move on, the one thing that makes me mad about the Chiefs is like I could at least understand.
Oh, the one thing. There's only one thing.
The main thing is like I didn't like them in the past couple of years, but I could respect them because they're a fun team to watch, and Mahomes would always have some crazy plays or they'd make something crazy happen and they'd be in good games. Now they're in terrible games and Mahomes barely makes anything crazy happen. He just kind of, you got Jonas Gray for a third down complete. Like, there's nothing fun going on anymore. There's no Mahomes flicking it across his body while he's running out of bounds. There's nothing like that. It's just boring football now. They're playing like they're the Indianapolis Colts from 2019. Like.
Dude, I thought getting Xavier Worthy would turn them into a fun team again. I was like, oh, Mahomes has got this guy that runs a 4-2-1.
Yeah.
Back to, Tyreek Hill era Mahomes where he's just launching it down the field. Nope. Most of the time, Xavier Worthy's a decoy. And I actually don't even think Xavier Worthy's that good. But it's like, let's just throw it deep to him and hope like we get a pass interference flag at best. I mean, when's the last time he's completed a deep shot to him? Week 1?
Yeah, like maybe week 3, I think it was.
Yeah, like it's just like nothing. They're not fun. They're not a fun team anymore, and they haven't been for a while. Like last year, they were boring too.
Yeah, there was glimpses of fun.
Yeah.
You want to move to Indy taking on the Jets. This game shouldn't be too long to discuss, I feel.
Yep.
Indianapolis traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Jets are favored by 4 here. People might be confused because this is supposed to be a Joe Flacco revenge game, right? Oh no, they're starting Anthony Richardson, the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. I was one of those guys that wanted to believe in Richardson, and I still kind of do. Because he's very young and he hasn't had a lot of football playing time in general. But if they really wanted to trust in Richardson, They should have just let him start because I feel like this year was already kind of thrown away by them losing so many games at the beginning of the year. So, like, you weren't trying to really get a playoff spot, were you? Were you just trying to prevent a mutiny or something, Steichen? I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm picking Jets by a trillion here. Jets -4. Richardson, until he proves he can be a competent quarterback, I'll never pick the Colts to win a game. Because number one, he takes away from Jonathan Taylor's efficiency. Jonathan Taylor has like way less check down work, which he's really good at getting check downs. Yeah, I don't need to really delve into it. I'm picking the Jets here.
I'm going with that too. I look, I think Anthony Richardson's got a lot of talent, but here's the thing. I just think like if anybody could get him to maximize his talent and become a legit NFL quarterback, it's Shane Steichen.
Yeah, he did that
But
with Jalen Hurts.
yeah, and Jalen Hurts has not been anywhere close to what he was. I mean, he's good, but he was like
He's turned the
top
ball over a
five quarterback
ton
in the
this year.
league. Yeah, he's not the same anymore. I really think Shane Steichen is one of the best like quarterback whisperers in the league. They showed this video on Twitter of like Anthony Richardson like throwing down some like crazy dunk, and I just was like thought to myself like this dude can literally do anything. He can do everything except for play football.
Yeah. And what really actually kind of makes me like not a fan of his was the whole "I'm tired" thing from like weeks ago, whatever that was, 3 weeks ago, when he basically
Yeah,
tapped out of a third down. Like,
yeah, I
how,
think that was a lot of like just immaturity. I really think he like does not have a lot of football sense. Like if you told me that Anthony Richardson started playing football when he was 16, I would believe you. I would totally believe you.
yeah,
I don't know when he started playing football, but he just seems like one of those guys that has like he just cut like very clueless to the game, you know? Like he's an amazing athlete, but he's not a great football player,
agreed.
you know?
And I think really, like I said, that's the only thing that really stops me from writing him off is his age. And then he does not have a lot of just general football experience under his belt. I mean, you can I don't know
He was
exactly how many
terrible
college
at
starts.
Florida.
Yeah, he
Not
didn't
not
start
many.
he didn't play at all in Florida besides his like 1 year, and that was a COVID year, right? That he played a little bit in, too. Didn't he?
No,
Oh,
I'm looking him up.
okay. I thought he played in
He
2020.
he had he pretty much only played 1 year at Florida. He had two passing attempts in 2020 as a freshman. He had 64 passing attempts in 2021.
Oh, I guess
Um,
it was 2021. I'm remembering. Okay.
and then 2022, it was like his only real year, like actually starting. Um, and his number, like 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He just like he really is not a great football player.
No.
I don't know what else. I don't really know how else to say it. He's not a great football player. He's an amazing athlete, and I think it's very hard for the NFL to like. The NFL just like looks at like 40 time hand size, broad jump, vertical jump. They like, oh my gosh, this guy can throw the ball so far, but it's like, can he throw it accurately? No. Can he process? Not
Yeah.
really. Can he like make checks at the line? I like. Can he go through his reads? And does he know not to like tap himself out of a game? I mean, dude, just call a run. Just audible to a run if you're that tired, man.
Yeah. You have Jonathan
You
Taylor.
literally just instantly lose all the respect in the locker room. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like third 20. Yeah, I mean, I just that was always the Anthony Richardson. That was like always like the deal with him. It was like very high potential upside, but it's like a lot of work. And I wouldn't have drafted a guy that high with that many question marks. Like if I'm drafting a guy in the top five, I want it to be a slam dunk. I want it to be like Joe Thomas in '07. I want it to be like Megatron or
Yeah.
like, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was like the most like slam dunk number one pick. And I thought Caleb Williams was. I thought
See,
I actually
I
thought
like
Joe Burrow was.
I like Drake May this year's draft. I think I told you about this when we were talking
You
about.
did, yeah, you for sure did.
I've liked Drake May more than I liked Caleb, but Caleb, I we're kind of getting a little off topic of football, the
Yeah,
games, but yeah, Drake May was always my number one guy, and I really liked uh, Jaden Daniels too. Although the whole thing that turned me off of him was the Arizona, where everyone was saying he sucked when he was like packing his locker room and all that. That was the only thing that was like a
yeah.
question mark for me was when him transferring out of Arizona. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty bonkers, dude. I wonder what happened to those guys.
yeah, they said he sucked. I wonder how they like if any of them are on NFL teams now.
Where are they now? Right? Yeah, compared to where he is. Yeah,
Uh, you want to move on to the Sunday night game?
yeah.
We'll wrap these picks up really quick. Cincinnati traveling
Oh,
to Los Angeles, take on the Chargers. Uh,
Eagles just fumbled the kickoff,
oh.
and they're fighting.
Wait, didn't what's his name get hurt? I saw Jalen Hurts went
Oh,
to the injury tent. I don't know if he's out.
I don't know.
But yeah, so Los Angeles Chargers
Oh,
minus 1.5 points here. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. As much as I like the Chargers and I like Justin Herbert, I like J.K. Dobbins, I like literally everything about the Chargers. I just think that Cincinnati has an awful taste in their mouth losing the way they did to Baltimore. And I mean, if you keep it that close with Baltimore, you know you're a good team. Jamar Chase had a monster game. Joe Burrow had a monster game. So I'm picking the Bengals as my underdog. Well, actually, they're not my underdog pick of the week yet, but I'm picking them as the underdog here. Bengals plus 1.5 points. I just think they need a win here. And losing the Bengals was not great for them. So got to get back on
you
track.
losing to the Ravens? You mean?
Yeah, losing to the Ravens. Sorry, yeah. So picking the Bengals to win, or picking the Bengals to cover the spread here.
Oh man, I want to do that too. And I just feel like the Chargers, like, who have the Chargers beaten anybody good at all?
So
What's the best team they've beaten?
did they beat
They beat
the?
the Raiders. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Broncos back when the
Didn't they beat
Broncos
the
were kind of ass.
Cardinals or no? Did they lose? Oh no, they lost the Cardinals, didn't they? Yeah, they lost really
Dude,
close.
their wins are over the Raiders, Panthers, Broncos, Saints, Browns, and Titans.
Yeah,
They've only beaten horrible ass teams.
yeah,
And their losses are the Steelers, Chiefs, and Cardinals. Now, granted, all of those games were close. Um, so I don't think the Chargers are a bad team. I
no.
really don't. I think they're a good team. But I just I don't know. I feel like this is a really tough one because I feel like it's priced so perfectly here. I just I think I gotta just go with the Bengals here. I gotta ride with you on this one because I just think I don't know. And Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback, but I I don't know. I don't really trust the Chargers here. I
Uh,
feel like
yeah.
they
Well, so I saw this on Pardon My Take, and um, they said all the teams that have played both Harbaughs have went 1-1, um, winning against one and losing to the other. Um, so we know the Bengals lost to Baltimore. So if we're going based off of that, the Harbaugh gauntlet, they have to win one of
back
these.
to back
So
Harbaugh. Huh?
yeah,
And Cincinnati gets a 10-day rest. They get the mini bye because they
yeah,
played on Thursday.
Thursday, and then they're playing really late too. So that's at least
Yeah,
good.
and I also think the Bengals are so desperate. They need this so much more than the Chargers do.
Yeah, and they're a very explosive passing team versus the Chargers are good at passing, but they don't have a guy like Jamar Chase. That's like the nuclear option for the Bengals is they can just like, okay, let's just get Jamar Chase going. Hopefully T Higgins will be back as well, which just makes Jamar Chase even better when T Higgins is out there. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. And I think this next one, Monday night game, this is gonna be a crappy Monday night game. This is Houston traveling to Dallas to take on obviously the Cowboys. Houston is favored by 7 points on the road here. I don't think I have to say much. Really, Dallas sucks. Um, they don't have Dak. Dak is the only reason they'll ever stay in most games. Dak, I mean, as much as you can hate Dak, at least he'll keep games close. Um,
Only when they're down by 30, though.
yeah, yeah. So, I, I mean, now that they're gonna have Nico Collins back, I mean, what is Dallas gonna do? Stop them with their great defense that they don't have? Yeah, sorry. Houston -7, taking that. That's all I really have to
Okay.
say. Cowboys are cooked.
I just worry about like I need like Will Anderson is like the key to like the um the Houston defense, and he was not a participant in practice today. He missed last week. Like they probably beat the Lions if Will Anderson's there. They probably beat the Jets if Will Anderson's. He's so important. Like he's like him and Stroud, offensive and defensive rookie of the year,
Yeah,
and just not. Look, I mean the Cowboys have nothing. Their running back is Wash Zeke and Rico Dowdle, and their quarterback is Cooper Rush. And if that doesn't work out, they get one of the biggest busts of all time. Trey Lance is their backup. There's nothing to. Oh, and also their defense is horrendous. However, they do get Micah Parsons back. They do have him back, and Houston's offensive line is atrocious. Just I like
yeah,
straight up just five matadors, five traffic cones, just
yeah.
awful,
Dallas's
awful,
pass rush
awful,
isn't
awful.
great though, even with Micah Parsons back. I don't know. It's just not really impressive to me this year.
Then again, then again, I feel like Houston could win this game like 10-3, like 10-0. Like
Yeah, could be a
the
let
cow
off.
the Cowboys have given up. They're cooked. They've given up. They've completely given up. I and I don't want to like make the same pick as you all the time, but I have to go Houston -7. I just have to. Even though it's at Dallas, I just have to.
Yeah,
There's nothing I can say that would be like, oh, the Cowboys are gonna bounce back. What are they gonna do? Nothing.
no,
They have nothing. They
who,
have no way to score
yeah.
points.
I mean,
CeeDee
besides
Lamb,
CD, yeah, CD and
yeah,
Rico Dowdle, that's about their two top weapons on offense right now. I mean,
but like, who's gonna like throw him the ball?
yeah, Cooper Rush, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
not
and so
not a great look for Dallas this week or any weeks, honestly, because Dak's supposed to be out for the rest of the season.
yeah, he is. He's done.
Tore his hamstring off the bone, right? Isn't that what they said? Something pretty bad.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just know he got surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your underdog pick for the week?
So
I already know what mine is.
my underdog picks I have are Tennessee, New England, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, and then Cincy. If I want the
Yeah.
most points, I could go Tennessee, but I don't think they'll win it. I just think they'll keep it. Maybe they could win it. You know what? No, I'm all in on Will Levis. Actually, I'm all in on the Will Levis turnaround. I'm gonna have my underdog pick of the week be the Tennessee Titans to win. This is the type of game
Will
that they can
Levis.
win. Levi's 501
Will
jeans.
Levis.
He's coming back. Listen, I don't forget that one game that he came back like down two scores with 4 minutes left against the Dolphins last year. He's
Mm,
kind of got a clutch gene. Kind of got a bit of a clutch gene. He's also got a bit of a turnover gene, but so does Josh
mhm.
Allen. So it's not
That's
the end of the
true.
world.
That's very true. He's
Yeah,
got a lot of Carson Wentz. He needs to be more Josh Allen than Carson Wentz.
yes, that is definitely a valid criticism. So yeah, I'm picking Tennessee as my underdog pick of the week. It's a risky one, but I could see it happening.
Okay, yeah, mine's Kansas City. Very straight, simple,
That's like
straightforward.
That's like favorite pick of the week right there, dude.
They're +2.
I
They're
know, but
+2.
it's insane that they are, honestly, even
And
in
I don't
Buffalo.
I don't feel good about Raiders +7. I don't think they're gonna win that game. Atlanta +2. Why if Atlanta's +2 and the Chiefs are +2, why would I not take Chiefs
No,
+2? You know what I mean? And
I'm
then I
with
have
you.
Cleveland +1. I have to do the Chiefs. There's no other choice
Yeah.
for me. So I'm taking the Chiefs. Um, and that's all there is to it.
Okay. So let's do our game of the week, and then we'll be finished with this episode. Um,
Yeah.
Game of the week. I'm looking through. I mean, Buffalo versus Kansas City is a pretty easy option.
I was gonna say.
I think Cincinnati taking on the Chargers could be a great game. And then my sleeper pick of two teams having a mid off is Cleveland versus New Orleans. I think that could be a great game. I mean, if Derek Carr and MVS get going and Jameis and Cedric Tillman get going, that could be a shootout, like a low key shootout. Um, it just really, honestly, it just depends on both of these quarterbacks. If they both show up, great game. If they both don't show up, it's going to be a mid off. Nick Chubb probably going to win the Browns a game. But yeah, that my game of the week, my sleeper game of the week is definitely Cleveland, New Orleans. That's going to be my game of the week.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say we should just like make a rule that you can't pick Kansas City Buffalo because that's like obviously the game of the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? For some reason, I feel like this Rams versus Patriots game is gonna be crazy. Um,
Yeah, it's like baby Stafford versus grown up Stafford.
yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's a good way to think about Drake May. Yeah, I just think Rams going cross country, Patriots maybe starting to like get a little more confident, starting to feel themselves a little bit. Rams maybe kind of confidence shaken a little bit, but they still have Stafford, so it's kind of like we could still win some games here. But yeah, I for some reason I have a feeling that's going to be like an entertaining game, or at least one that comes down to the very end.
I think so too. That should be a good game.
Yeah.
So that's all our picks for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and click that bell. And make sure you catch us in the next one. Peace out.